It's funny how couples say they are fine only because they don't argue often. You only have to sit with them a little longer to realize something is missing. It's not the absence of fight, but the absence of real connection. Think about it. How many times have you been in the same room with someone you love, but it felt like you were miles apart? That's the danger zone. Communication is more than words. It's presence, tone, and attention. I am David Adegboyega, and this is the Sound Character Wall. What really is communication? According to Dr. Albert Mehrabian's 7-38-55 rule, situations where tones or expressions conflict with words, only about 7% of impact comes from the words. The rest is conveyed via tone, which is 38%, and facial and body language, which is 55%. Common mistakes couples make. Assuming I'm here equals I'm connected. That you're together in the same room does not mean you're connected. And it's important for you to know this, because you can be physically together, but your mind is miles away due to whatever things. And importantly is the fact that stories go on in your mind. And those stories, even though you're present, they take you out of that situation. Let me give you an example. Maybe you had an issue earlier in the day, and then the way she left the room, she slammed the door. And in your mind, you're thinking, oh, my wife is still hot at me. But the reason she slammed the door was she rushed to the kitchen just to attend to what was on the fire. It's important communication happens so that you can clarify that story. Talking but not listening. That's another communication challenge. You're talking but you're not listening to the other person. Many a times people listen just to respond. But when in communication, listen to be able to know the story the other person is telling him or herself. That way you can respond appropriately, and then communication happens. Another mistake is using words to defend rather than understanding. Words are very powerful. Now, when you understand the fact that you don't have to be on the defensive, but create an environment of understanding, it's important we note something, that when communication breaks down, people actually pick one side. Either they pick silence or they pick violence. They pick fight or they pick fright. But use your words to bring about dialogue. No silence, no violence, no fright, no fight. Dialogue. Here are some healthy communication habits. Daily check-ins, active listening, and non-verbal communication. I advise you speak to your spouse at least 3 times between when she leaves in the morning or when you leave in the morning till you come together in the evening. Of course, you don't always achieve that. But when you have that at the back of your mind, a WhatsApp message, a text message, a voice note, a phone call, and it does the magic. The next is active listening. Have you been listening to respond or listening to understand? Listening takes intentionality, because many a times we hear, we don't listen. When you listen, you are listening for the stories in your partner's mind. It's very important. Why? Because people don't hear what you say. They hear what they thought they heard. And that is affected by the stories in their minds. Let me tell you a little story. Recently, my wife asked me a question, and I responded with my words. And she said, well, look at your face, look at your facial expression. And this takes me to non-verbal communication. When she said that, I asked myself, but I responded with what I understood to be the answer. But when she said, look at your facial expression, I had to pause and begin to ask myself, what was the story in my mind? I wasn't even thinking about her again. I was thinking about myself. What was I thinking? And I realized I was thinking maybe she was objecting what I said. And this is where communication breaks down. Objection. But I want to tell you something. As you learn to communicate, as you learn to discuss, things become clearer to you. Don't break down when the communication breaks down. Just seek to have dialogue, seek to clarify the stories, and you'll definitely be on your path to a happy union. Don't underestimate the small signals. Love grows in spaces where we choose to be attentive. Here's a challenge. Tonight, Instead of asking your spouse, how was your day? Ask, what made you smile today? And really listen. Then come back here and share your experience. I would love to hear how it changes the conversation in your home.